This conference will now be recorded.
So I hope you have all know about the performance testing, and then you already have a hands-on experience either with the LoadRunner or with the JMeter. Is my understanding correct over here? You can speak. It's like
Yeah,
it
Yes,
is something as it is a training.
that's
True,
right.
true.
yes, Satish.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So it says something like this. Okay, whatever we are going to teach here is not performance testing, but as you already know about the performance testing, there are different set of tools available or the products available in the market to do the performance testing. If you pick up an open source, it is called JMeter. If you pick up a paid versions, you have it up as a LoadRunner family products and the unit. So in this certain section, actually, most of the times the testers are like kind of or in the projects, everyone will be using LoadRunner Professional as such because it is a bit cheaper version when in comparison to the license when compared to the LoadRunner Enterprise. LoadRunner LoadRunner Enterprise will be used by large scale organizations. Say if you are working in any of the banking companies or in a telecommunications or at retail organizations where they have a large amount of presence, then LoadRunner Enterprise comes into picture. Just share my screen. I'll just is my screen visible for all? Uh, is my screen visible?
No, no.
Abhinav, you're sharing, right?
Yeah, it's visible now.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
it's
yet.
coming now.
Yes,
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I'm
it is
sharing.
visible now.
It's coming. Okay. Okay, okay, okay. So let me introduce myself. Like I am Abhinav. Like I have 10 years of IT experience. Everything into the administration of the all micro focus products. Say it from ALM, LoadRunner Enterprise, ALM, Octane, and UFT. So what we do is we do the installations, upgrades, integrations of all these products. We maintain the SaaS versions. We maintain the on-premise and the cloud versions and the hybrid modes of on-premise and cloud versions of all the micro focus set of products. Among them, LoadRunner Enterprise is what is my primary skill set. Uh, I'll just give you, I mean, you all know about the performance testing, so I'm just going to skip it. I'll just give you a brief demo and I'll go, just 1 minute talk about and we're going to move up with the LoadRunner. So, if, as you all know, like kind of how important is the performance testing, the processes why I have listed over here is irrespective of whatever the tool you choose, whether it is a LoadRunner Professional, LoadRunner Enterprise, or a JMeter, or a Neuron, whatever the process, tool you're gonna choose it, you're gonna identify the user scenarios. You will record the user scenarios. You will parameterize those test scripts, and you group them in a way that okay, they will be executed together. Once you do that, you create your load scenario. After you create them, you simulate the load scenario and you execute them and you analyze the results and you share your reports with the developers. But the processing, but this all these processes actually will be done by LoadRunner Professional and LoadRunner Enterprise in different ways. In case of LoadRunner Professional, you might have known that okay, you will have a controller, you will have a viewgen, you will have a analysis. In your viewgen virtual user generator, you will be recording your scripts, you will be enhancing your scripts. On the controller, you will be designing the scenarios and you will be executing the scenarios. And on the analyzer, you will be doing your test results analysis sequence. Let me skip and go back before I analyze, show you the benefits actually directly to the architecture diagram of LoadRunner. If you see this, whatever we have discussed about actually in the LoadRunner Professional, you have Vusion, controller, and analysis. In case of LoadRunner Enterprise, actually, your scripting will never change. So, either it may be of your LoadRunner Professional or it might be of your LoadRunner Enterprise. Your scripting will never change. What happens with your scripting is you will be using Vusion and you will be like getting those. You will be developing your scripts as it is. But in case of scenario design and in case of scenario execution, you will have a separate components called LRE hosts and load generators to do this load execution sequence. If you see the load runner server over here, it will make a connection to the LRE host. LRE host here is nothing but your controller. but in a not you cannot be directly logging on to the controller to do your scenario design and all. You will be performing the design of your scenario on the load runner server. That design will be passed on to the load runner host, which is nothing but a controller readily available at that moment of the time. Once the scenario is being passed to the load runner host, it will collect the it will ask the load generators to generate the load on your application under the test. It is if you know LoadRunner professional, understanding of LoadRunner enterprise is like it is one and the same. Understanding or the concept behind it is one and the same. But the components you use to do the performance system in case of LoadRunner professional is only one machine. But in case of LoadRunner enterprise, it will have a different components for each and every. As I said, for designing of the scenario, you will have LoadRunner enterprise server. After you design, it will be passed on to the LRE host, which will execute the test, and the load will be generated by the load generator. While you do all these things, you can be able to integrate your test or your load runner surface with all the APM set of products. If you are using a Dynatrace, or if you're using a new relic, if you're using an app dynamics site scope, or if you don't or like kind of you don't have any of these products actually, load runner enterprise itself will have a like kind of a basic monitoring system. All you have to do with that is you have to add your servers along with the credentials inside the router enterprise, and you'll be able to see those monitors available. Like generally, as a performance testers actually, okay, what are all the server side monitoring? What are all the server side metrics you will monitor? Anyone can answer that. You have done a lot of performance testing. So, what are the server side metrics you will see when you do your performance testing?
CPU, memory,
And what are the
threads.
tools you use to get you? How do you? I mean, threads. Okay, application related monitoring we may not be able to do it up with LoadRunner. You LoadRunner enterprise. You need New Relic or App Dynamics or Dynatrace. But at least server side monitoring is concerned. Whatever you said, like a CPU, memory, like kind of a disk network, all these things. What are the tools you generally use it up when you do this thing? Actually, I mean, maybe you might be using your APM tools itself. But in case of LoadRunner enterprise, there is an option available. You enter your server details, it will pick up the counters for you. You can be able to, without having a new relic or Dynatrace or app dynamics, at least server side metrics will be monitored by the enterprise itself, and it will be integrating those results for you in your test reports is concerned. But if you consider another scenarios actually. Okay, you will be maybe you will be in a company called X actually, but you have been given an opportunity. I mean, you have got a project setting that okay, you need to do the performance testing of the on the applications in the company Y. But in the company Y, they cannot like let you into their systems directly. They cannot let you into their systems directly. All they have given is okay, they've given you some VM. Okay, you have gone ahead and prepared your scripts in that. But if you want to execute that scripts actually, the load generators are needed, and it has to be mandatorily present in the company by. So as you are in the company X, you cannot go and log in over there, and you cannot do that load execution in the company Y based load generators. So or if you are in a cloud in your same company itself, your load generators are present on the on-premise, and the LRE server and the host are present on the cloud. So these two different related networks needs to meet each other. Then you use a concept called MILS. So the execution as such will not change anything. But the components used in the LoadRunner enterprise for having this execution will change from time to time. As per the need is concerned. If both your application and the load generators and the LRA host machines, LRA servers are in the same network, you use the diagram only for this thing. But considering actually your applications is in a separate network, and your like LRE server and even the host is in a separate network, then you use this scenario of where you will be installing a component called MINSR over the firewall. You will be allowing some ports to monitor these load test results, and getting back the data to the LRE server. So if you see this thing, if you know LoadRunner professional as a performance tester, you will not feel any difference with the LoadRunner enterprise. But consider like this, okay, you are in a COE kind of structure, center of excellence kind of structure. It will be knowing LoadRunner Enterprise will be certainly an added value for you, because all large scale companies or like all large scale enterprise organizations, they will be using LoadRunner Enterprise instead of LoadRunner Professional. The reason why is, uh, how many of you like kind of an how many of you end up working in the performance COE model? Center of excellence performance center. Maybe you're all working in different set of projects. You work as an individual or you work as a team with. How is it your general thing, general day-to-day work life as a COE tester or it as an individual tester?
It's a
If you're
COE,
an individual,
know.
it's a COE. Yeah. So it's a COE. If you are in a COE kind of setup, most of the times, and if you're one particular customer, you have it up over there. See, I'll tell you an example of where I have really worked on when I was working with TCS. I used to work for a client called a very big retail customer. They have a 150 performance testing projects itself. They are not like they will be. It is a mandatory for them for every application they release. They want a performance testing, and if they want a performance testing, and one user, particular project needs to be at least minimum needs to tested with 2,000 to 2,500 user virtual user systems. So if I want to provide that load, I need a minimum of 4 load generators for that particular project itself. So that means considering if I am going with LoadRunner progression, one controller and then 4 load generators for one project is going to be 5 machines. I have almost 150 plus projects. Then I need 750 machines to do the performance system for my entire organization. That means I have to put up a one data center itself for the performance system. Instead, what they have, I mean, like what LoadRunner Enterprise will do is LoadRunner Enterprise will provide a shared environment. See, not all the 150 projects will be under the performance testing every day. Okay, so, based on the release, maybe
Your
out of the
voice is
150 plus projects,
deteriorating.
actually 30 or 40 projects will be alive. So out of that also, every doing the performance system. Is it okay now? Hello, hello.
Abhinav,
Yeah,
Okay.
Abhinav,
Just give me a
in
moment. Okay, I'll just
sometimes,
reconnect to them. Yes, yes, yes,
Abhinav,
yes.
can you hear me?
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, yes, yes. I'll just rejoin. Just give me a moment. I'll just change network.
Yeah, yeah.
Just a
Please,
moment. Just
please.
a moment.
Sure, sure.
I'll change my network. Just a second. Am I audible now? Am I audible now completely? Okay. You're all on mute.
yeah,
Better,
yeah.
better,
Better.
better, better, better now.
Sure. Yeah. I'm just sharing my screen back. Okay. As I was just saying earlier, uh, see, in a COA kind of structures, actually, there you will have, as I said, 150 plus projects in my personal experience, wherever I saw. So each project needs like kind of almost 5 machines. So I need a 750 machines instead of that means I need to keep up one particular data center itself to maintain the performance system, which is not affordable for most of the customers. So then what they do it up is okay, they will it is practical that okay, every time 30 or 40 projects alone will be doing the performance testing. Because everything comes in the patches or everything comes in the releases like so every time all the time only 30 to 40 projects alone will be doing the performance testing. And not that at every day 30 plus 40 or 30 or 40 projects will be doing. Maybe today some 10 or 15 projects will be doing the performance testing. Tomorrow another 5 or 10 will do another like so every day like kind of it will be like a lot. It's not that all the 150 plus projects will be doing it up. Probably 5 or 10 projects will be doing the performance testing. So the micro focus has come up, or it's like if you have heard earlier, it's called performance center. Now they have renamed it to the LoadRunner Enterprise. They have come up with a shared environment. See, I shared environment. So if you have been given access to the LoadRunner Enterprise, you will be allowed to use whatever is the load generators available. So instead of me keeping 750 plus load generators available, what I'll do with the is I'll keep 10 controllers available and I'll keep like kind of 40 load generators available. So I'll have maximum kept of 50 plus machines. So my cost is significantly reduced from 750 machines to the 50 machines. So whoever is the user, okay, tomorrow, like, okay, user A wants to access, he will go to the LoadRunner Enterprise. He'll book a time slot. Okay, I need these 10 missions for the next 5 hours. I need this 10 missions for the next 2 weeks. So they will book their time slots, and in their time slots, no other users or no other projects will be allowed to use those machines. So as soon as their testing is completed, they will be releasing those machines immediately. So all this will, if you see, all these things will be done simultaneously. It can simultaneously run the test. It can simultaneously consider 50 machines. So if 5 people, like, okay, 5 machines is needed for one project. So totally there are, you can run 10 tests at a time in LoadRunner Enterprise. Whereas in case of LoadRunner Professional, actually, you can be able to run only one test at a time in a machine. But in case of LoadRunner Enterprise, you can do 10 tests. Or I mean, and there is no limit. Actually, it is based upon your license. So you can buy the license, how many number of tests you want to do it up at a point of time. You can be able to do that many number of tests. If you want, sometimes some customers will go for unlimited accesses. So they will be like continuing with, okay, they'll get 100 licenses. That means like 100 at a time, 100 tests can be run inside the LoadRunner Enterprise. And this is accessible via web. So all you will do is the admin will pass you an URL. When they pass on the URL, they will be like kind of you will be logging into the URL. You will block your machines. You will upload your scripts into the LoadRunner Enterprise, and you design your scenario using the LRE server, and then you will just do your testing. And you, after your testing is completed, collect your results and release back the machines to the general pool so that any other user will be using those machines. So in order to optimize the resource costs, actually, LoadRunner Enterprise has come up with a shared environment model. As I said, it is web-based, so you don't need to have an access to the controller machine or a load generator machine at all. All you need to do is just like kind of access the web URL, just select what are the load generators you needed, and then it will be displayed what are the load generators is available for you. You just have to select them, upload your scripts, and just do your testing dispensing. So in the end result, whether it is a LoadRunner Professional or it is a like LoadRunner Enterprise, the end result will never change. As a performance tester, your processes will never change. Okay, so these are the this is the basic difference between the LoadRunner Professional and with the LoadRunner Enterprise as well. And you have any doubts or questions still now? You can ask.
Yeah,
There is no. You can
one
always.
question. One
Sure.
question, Abhinav. So this LRE, I see that there are multiple components inside that LRE. So how many VMs or how many machines are required for this LRE setup?
Minimum is three. Minimum is three machines. One is LRE server, one is DB server, another thing is a host. You can host can be used both as controller and also as a load generator. But minimum you need
Okay,
three, but maximum there is no limit. Consider, as I said to you, in my case, I have worked with 150 plus projects. I have kept 50 host machines and LG machines. In another project where I have seen, they are having 150 load generators because they are doing SAP related testing over there. They need more number of machines to be on that. So there
okay.
is no
So
limit,
if I
but minimum is three. Yeah.
right, if I understand it right, we need LRE server, LRE host, and a DB
And
server.
DB setup. Yes. So
Okay, okay. That is
only
no.
if we have, this is the minimum setup actually. Maximum, I mean,
Okay,
what is the maximum setup? There is no limit on the number of machines. You can have 10 LRE servers also together in a, together, and you can have 100 LRE hosts. You can have but only one DB server in this case. But generally, there is no limit on LRE servers and LRE hosts. Ideally,
okay,
teams maximum they will go for two. I mean, if it is a large scale organizations, they will go with two LRE servers and 50 to 100 LRE servers based upon their need, but only one DB server for everything. And
okay.
and,
The
and,
test
and
can
there is
run
a there is
without.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
and the
sir,
test
sir.
can run without LGs, correct?
No, LRE host is nothing but a controller plus LG. You can
Okay,
configure this thing as whatever you need. LRE host, okay, you want to use it as a controller, you use it as a controller. You want to use it as a LG, you use it as an LG. But in case of load generator, you have to mandatorily use it only as an LG,
right, right.
not
Okay,
as a
okay.
not
Yeah.
as a controller actually. But there is also one other thing here. It's like kind of you keep one host machines and you keep every load generator as a cloud machines. Okay? Generally, what happens in real time practice is they don't buy all the machines. Actually. Either it's a LRE host or LRE server they will buy, DB server they will buy. Like kind of, they'll keep it all the time available. But LRE host and load generators they'll keep it up in a AWS or an Azure. What they do it up over there is whenever they want to use it for the test, they will switch it on whenever they want to whenever there is no test. Example, this is a lean case. Okay, next for the next 15 days out of the 100 machines we don't need a 15 machines to be available at all. So why to pay the money rent and all for the AWS or Azure? They'll switch off the machines. We will switch off the machines. So only 50 load generators will be available at that point of time. The remaining 50 will be in the inactive state. Once the performance testing phase starts, we will switch on all the machines. So in order to have a cost optimizations, it's like kind of most of the times the load generators and the LRE host machines will be, that is the reason it has been written over here. Dynamic provision using the cloud-based load generators and elastic Docker-based load generators. So in case of LoadRunner Professional, you have to have a VM machine available with you all the time. But in case of LoadRunner Enterprise, you go and get the LoadRunner host machine or LG machine installed on a AWS or an Azure. Once okay, you feel like okay, this is your performance testing season, okay, or like consider in the month or in this 1 month, 1 week is something you every people will do the performance testing, or the first 15 days. Other 15 days, most of the okay, few projects only will be doing the performance testing. So what we will do is we will switch off all those machines, so there will be no cost to the company. At the same time, like kind of we can be able to afford more number of load generators also as needed. Consider the other way around. Generally, the number of people testing the performance testing is 30. Number of projects using the performance testing, but there was a sudden increase in the demand. 50 project teams started using the performance testing. Then what we'll go to is we will go to the AWS or Amazon like Azure. We will get a new machines. We will do the like kind of we will create a copy of these machines. That means we don't need to do any like kind of reinstallation as such kind of. There is a concept called snapshot. We'll make it like an AWS snapshot or Azure snapshot. We will keep one thing available. If you say, if you ask me okay, today morning, like okay, like hey, Abhinav, I just need 20 more machines to be available by tomorrow, or I'll do it myself. As I already have a snapshot, actually, I'll ask my AWS admin, okay, hey, just create 20 copies of this snapshot. He will be giving those machines for me, and I'll add those machines in the LRE setup. And after your testing is completed, okay, I understood. Okay, after 10 days, no one has started using it, so I'll reduce my count. So I'll remove those. I'll switch off those machines and I'll remove them from my LRE enterprise environment. I'll notify the AWS admin, okay, to go ahead and decommission. So it is all flexible environments. In case of LoadRunner Professional, you need to have mandatorily the physical machines or a VM machines. But in this case, this is all rented basis. So you don't need to like kind of have an environment readily available for all these things for all the time. And the another benefit with LRE is either with the Jenkins or a Bamboo or any other AACA servers, like sorry, any other CI/CD servers, or another micro focus products like an ALM Octane or even with Jira, you will have an integrations with all these things possible with LoadRunner Enterprise. And consider as I said to you, uh, when there is a COE setup, see if you are working in a small scale environments, you can be able to store your scripts, you can be able to store your results and all. I mean, maybe in some shared folder or some location or inside that LRP machine itself. But in case of major organizations where there was every day there will be a performance testing, every once in a month there are some 10 or 15 applications will be releasing with their patches or like with the new builds. So there needs to be a centralized repository where all the scripts and test results needs to be stored. So LRE Enterprise acts as that repository. So you can be able to store all your scripts. What we will do is we will create a project structures. Okay. We will create a domain first of all. Okay. If it is like kind of HR domain, there will be a project number one called workday. Project number two called learning and development. Project number three called benefits. So I can create as many number of projects as I wish. So whoever is like doing the performance testing on the workday, they will log into the project. They'll upload all their scripts over there. They will do the performance testing, and whatever the results being generated, it is automatically stored over there. So consider that associate is moving out of the company tomorrow. Then what happens is that they will be, I mean, whoever comes into his position, He don't need to wait, or he don't need to know about where the scripts are stored, where the results are stored, or where he can get an access to all this thing. All he has to do is get an access to the Workday project. He log in over there, download all your scripts, and then like kind of see what are the scenarios you design, and just download all your results and just go started working on these things. So it's something like a kind of, it is, everything is a web-based platform. In the web-based platform, you will be able to see each and everything. So if you, let me show you like one small thing over here. You see this thing, LRE looks like this. Okay, all you have to do it up is, if you have got an access, you'll just like log in with your credentials. I mean, admin will provide you the credentials. You have selected your domain and your project name. If you see this thing, you go to test management, you will have all your scripts. This is a script actually. You'll be able to say, consider like this. You want to edit something or do anything with your script actually. See, this is your Bayesian script. Nothing but this is all, everything is your Bayesian script. Okay, if you want to like download and work on, you can go ahead and work on. If you want to edit the script, consider, okay, you want to make some change, like kind of, I don't want LRE. Okay, change, or you want to change any of the your, if it is parameterized actually, you can go ahead and see all your parameters sensitive. If you want, I mean, you don't need to download the script and all to do the your updation of the parameters or anything. You can be able to directly do all these things from the LoadRunner Enterprise itself directly. And then after that, you just go ahead and design your scenario. This is what is your I mean, it's all everything like a LoadRunner Enterprise scenario. Sorry, not on a, whatever the general scenario, but whatever you are trying to do it up over here, it is not a controller actually. This is all you are seeing it as a .NET enterprise server. You do it up, and whatever the results you generated, as I said, like, okay, these are my test runs. These are the test runs I have did. Okay, this is in the finished state. Let me go to the HTML report. So HTML report will be accessed then and there with all your transaction names. Once if you want to have a full-fledged analysis of what is present, click on view results. Click on raw results, download them, and open your analysis and just like view it up like a LoadRunner professional result. So I mean to say, everything here is like kind of a web based. Whatever you are trying to do right now is kind of in a like kind of LoadRunner professional is in a you log into the machine, you do things like kind of by machine. But in this thing, everything is a web based, and most of the large scale organizations, like trust me, all banks most of the times like they'll be using LoadRunner Enterprise instead of professional, because all wherever there's a streamlining of the testing processes, they use only LoadRunner Enterprise. There in case of nearload or in case of Gem, it is open source. You leave about it. In case of a nearload, if you, in case of a Gatling K6, any tool you pick it up, you don't have a web-based platform to have a centralized location of the repository. LoadRunner Enterprise is the only web-based platform which supports the performance system. So as I said, these are the benefits we have with the LoadRunner. This thing. You have any questions you can ask, or you have any doubts you can ask me on that.
I have one last question on this bit. So this MI listener, no, this MI listener, do we need to have it in a separate system, or this MI listener can be installed on the LRE host?
It's practically speaking, you can install like the MLSN on the LRE host, but officially speaking, no. Officially, if you are go and ask the Micro Focus or open text support engineer or someone, they will say the answer is no. But is it works in the real time? The answer is yes.
Okay, okay. In ideal case, we have to have this MI listener in a separate VM and
Separately, yes.
connect it to LRE
Yes,
host or
yes,
LRE server.
yes, yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay. All right. Thank you.
yes. Now, as we discussed, actually, and let me also show you how you can, in case, as I said to you, you can be directly able to go to the monitor. See, you'll see the integration. So you don't need a like kind of see, if you want to monitor your IIS server, you can click on next and you just go and get it up. You can have a integration directly with App Dynamics, Dynatrace, and then like all these things you'll be able to have like kind of direct integrations. You don't need to like kind of have any other details. So, like SQL metrics, you want to keep it up, you just give the DB details over there. So what is the DB server name, and it LoadRunner Enterprise will automatically pick up these details. Like I mean to say, you don't need to have a separate APM tool present for these things. But like application related monitoring, yes, still it is not yet happening. But at least in the case of other related things like Windows resources, Unix resources, all these things, we will be having like kind of a LoadRunner Enterprise can directly go ahead and get those metrics for you, and provide you in your test report. You don't need, if you're monitoring only the like kind of a server related metrics, you don't need a App Dynamics or a Dynatrace or a New Relic here to monitor this thing. LoadRunner Enterprise will itself will provide you that details. So other benefits with the LoadRunner Enterprise is, okay, this is all we have discussed. Let me go back quickly to those slides. One moment, please. Sorry. Okay. Another benefit with the LoadRunner Enterprise is network virtualization. If you see, okay, when you do the performance testing, like kind of what are all the different networks you have considered in your, or like okay, consider like this, okay. We all have booked on tickets on IRCTC, right? Hello.
Yes, yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Where does the IRCTC server sit? Mostly in Delhi or somewhere. Just like imagine everything is in Delhi or somewhere. But where are the end users of IRCTC? All over India. That
Well,
means like
all
everyone in
over
India
India.
will book the ticket. Yeah. So is it possible for me to keep every, consider I am doing the performance testing for IRCTC itself. Application server is in Delhi, so no problem with application server. So I have 30 almost some 30 states and six or eight union territories that I have it. Do you, I mean, is it practically possible for me to keep one load generator in every state in order to do this testing is concerned? That means I need 30 plus load generators. So the answer is actually no, because if I keep on all my end users locations, actually my load generators count will be increased, and I will be using like kind of say like kind of hundreds of machines is needed. Instead, what I can do it up is, wherever is my application server is located. Example, in case of Delhi, IRCTC application server is located. I'll keep the load generator also only in Delhi. Nowhere else I'll keep a load generator. But instead of like keeping a 16 GB RAM machine, I'll keep 160 GB RAM machine over there, so that like it is a very all the locations can be embedded in one place. But there, wherever I kept the load generator near the application server, I'll use a concept called network virtualization. I will make, I mean, LoadRunner Enterprise will make the load generator to emulate the latencies of the 30 different states. Like example, from Andhra Pradesh or from Telangana or from like like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. Like it will say, okay, from Karnataka to Delhi, it is 30 seconds. So you emulate the Karnataka latency. That means instead of keeping a one different machine in each and every state, with one machine you can be emulate 30 or 40 different network profiles itself is concerned, and it will eliminate the cost, but your end results will never vary over here. See, generally what is network, it is your packet loss. So whatever is the what we need to manually configure those details in the LoadRunner Enterprise, and LoadRunner Enterprise will make sure your load generator will emulate these things. So one load generator can emulate 100 profiles. That means 100 locations it can emulate. So it will eliminate the need of maintaining the more number of load generators itself. So what happens now? Look, you don't need to have more number of load generators. All you can do is you create your own profile, and you just like end of network profile, and then you just add it to the LoadRunner Enterprise. It will generate the test results accordingly for your performance testing. So if you see this thing, this is your client gateway. This is your like kind of network virtualization. It might be like it will either delay or speed up all your network related details from here, and it will go to the server, and it will bring you back all this details. But again, consider another place. What we have thought is about only the locations currently. And what are the different types of networks available in Andhra, like in Telangana and Hyderabad? Like you have few people will be using 4G, few people will be using 5G, few people will be using 3G, few people will be using still using 2G. Someone will have an office network of WAN, someone will have a like localized network of LAN, FC. These are the other different. In a single location itself, you have this many number of networks again. So with LoadRunner Enterprise, you don't need to put up any different machines. Like you have to do the settings changes, and you have to make sure that actually when you configure these profiles, it will be automatically emulated in the load generator itself, and then the same results will be generated. I mean, same whatever is based upon your network profile, the results accordingly you can be able to generate the results with the performance. So that means you'll be able to understand a person who is having a 3G network, how much is the time taken for in IRCTC website to log in. Who is having the 4G network, they will be how much time it is taking for them to log in into the IRCTC website. Who is using still 2G or who is using a WAN access, how much time they're taking. So you will be able to analyze all these things in a full-fledged way. Most of the times, what happens in the performance system is they'll be like using the same network for everything, but ideally when the as the trend is emerging with like kind of different networks, so they are having a different profiles for 4G, 3G, 2G. As a manual tester, as an automation tester, they do it up with the Google Chrome, how is that application, or with the, like kind of with Edge browser, how is it, or in case of an mobile users, Android, how the mobile app is working, for iOS, how the mobile app is working. So you will have different networks of how the profiles of the same way in the network you will have different profiles, and what is their impact on the performance testing. LoadRunner will help you to create those scenarios and help you to get this results accordingly. If you have any questions or doubts on this thing, we will be seeing these things in our demos, like in our next sessions. But this is one other feature of the LoadRunner Enterprise where you will be able to use it for your performance testing activities. We will see these things in detail. Any questions or doubts you have? Uh, if no, we can move on. Hello,
No,
am I
no,
audible,
yeah, you can move.
guys?
Yeah, yeah, you can move.
Yeah, yeah. Show you. So this is like kind of virtual location mode. If you keep it up, if you see someone with is doing from London to US, or from USEC, India to USA, you can create a profiles like this. Client located is in London, server located is in US East Coast. So client located is in India, server located on the US East Coast. So you can be able to create your profiles as needed. What is your end user location? What is your server location? And it is to 2 dot, 2.5 thing, which is 3G network, 2.5G network. You can create all these things in these profiles in the LoadRunner Enterprise, and then you can be able to emulate these scenarios for your performance testing. That we will see these things in detail. And next thing we're going to discuss in our sessions will be the service virtualization. See, you might be doing a payment or like kind of anything, as I said, like kind of most of the teams they want a like kind of performance testing to be done on a banking application for a credit card transaction, or on an Amazon website you have to emulate the payment scenario, or like kind of in a banking scenario, like kind of you need a KYC check needs to be done, or in any other case, you pick up any other case actually, it's like wherever there is a need of a third party integration, or a need of an sorry, not, what is it? Where there is a sensitive data or a transactional data, we cannot be able to emulate them in the general things. So we will be discussing how to create a virtual service itself, how to create a virtual service, and how to emulate the service for your performance testing. We will be discussing. I'll just show you. Okay? If you see that I have a postman, I am just keeping it up like this is one of the virtual service I have created myself actually, okay, using SV. Okay, using SV I have created a like kind of a virtual service. In this virtual service, I'm sending a request. I'm sending a response. If you observe this token actually, now it is 071. I'm sending it the username and the password. Now it is 41. It will be keep on changing. One or two. So I have created a virtual service. I have given a username and the password. I'll change this username. 123. See, I have Abhi 123. I'm making it up. Now the username has to come as Abhi 123 for me. See, Abhi 123 has come in. So if you see, so I have created a virtual service, and in the virtual service, I'll go to the developer. I'll ask the developer actually, developer, what is your request format? You give it to me. What is the response format? You give it to me. Based upon that, I'll virtualize that service. That means if I pass it on actually username and the password, it should validate. Generally, what happens in the backend is actually okay, it will validate the username and password is correct, so the KYC is considered as correct, and then you generate the token. So this is what is being generated. Okay. Now this token will be passed in your subsequent request actually. So what I will do it is I'll virtualize this service because I cannot go and get a KYC from the bank or any other things. Right? So I'll send this username and the password. You want to see end of the day you want to generate the load on the application server. Whether this is the right username or wrong username, no one bothers about it actually. So that means like and that this is the third part. All you need to know is that like kind of some token number to be generated. After the token is generated, you will go ahead and generate the load on your like kind of in this case I'm saying token, but it consider if the KYC is considered as yes. So if the KYC should come as yes, then it will generate the token in your application server itself directly. So that yes has to come from there. So what I'll do is I'll virtualize that service. So whenever I click on like kind of send, that means I'll develop a virtual service. After the time, Vusion will send a request like this. Whatever I'm showing you is in like kind of a postman, but in case of Vusion, you will write the same request over here. Like okay, web, you will keep like this web insert REST API. I'm simply saying actually. Okay. Now, whatever the thing you are seeing here actually, HTTPS localhost, all these things, this body of the request, the headers, all these things, you will be implementing up over here, and from there, whatever the response you are saying actually, you will be getting in the Vusion itself, and whatever the token you are passing, consider it's a session. Okay, you are passing that I think in this thing. So that means you're getting some response from there which should ideally come as a third party, and you're passing on to your next request for your application. So how to create those services, how to get these responses, how to customize these things, we will be using a tool called service virtualization, and this is like kind of a freeware for the 15 days but not all the time. So I'll show you these things, how to generate a virtual service for you, and how to create this virtual requests and responses. And after that, like how to use these things in the Vusion to generate a result, and how to move it to the things. So this is what we're gonna discuss in service virtualization module in our sessions. Most importantly, network virtualization, where you emulate the network. In case of a service virtualization, you emulate the service. So network, you're simulating the network, service, you're simulating the service itself. So these two are the important concepts in the performance testing. I mean, it will be an added topics for your knowledge actually. So I'm not going to say your performance testing is not going to change, is going to change everything, but this will be a certainly added topic be able to do your performance testing in and with LoadRunner Enterprise, how you can be able to make these things done. So these things we will be discussing. And what we will discuss in our courses administration topics like as an consider. Okay, I'm going to give you knowledge about see, you know about LoadRunner professional, LoadRunner enterprise, like kind of what are the things as an admin. See, in a COE there is a one specific person called admin also. Most of the, if he's a large scale COE, because I started as an PC admin or LRE admin actually. So there will be one person if you're in a large scale organizations, you will have these things. So I'll be showing you, he will be doing this NV scenarios, SV scenarios. He will be the person who will doing all these things. This concept. I'll show you what are the administration jobs they will do. Or how in administration, how the time slots is maintained, how the projects will be created, how the users has to be given them access, how load generators will be added to the LRE setup, and for a project overview, how to like what is the different modules available in the LRE project, how you design your, how you upload your scripts, how you edit your scripts, how do you plan a scenario, how do you assign the load generators, how do you execute the results, and how do you if in case there is an issue with the results, how do you collect them manually, how do you collect them, and how do you analyze various graphs in LRE. All these details will be discussed, and then we will be discussing about the network virtualization, how to create the profiles, how to emulate those profiles, how to analyze the network virtualization results. See, you have to create a profile, you have to make sure how is it getting simulated, and after that in the result, how you have to analyze actually, like how the results are different from the general results. So this we will be doing. And as I said, service virtualization, I'll give you an overview. I'll make sure you create your virtual services, you enhance them, you create a script out of it actually, and you will run them, and then like how you'll get that results also, we will be just saying it. We will whenever there is a new version of LRE, we will be going for an upgrade. I'll discuss the how the upgrade will be happening in the LRE, and we'll discuss other general. If you are planning to go, see, there are some LRE administration jobs also, though it's not very frequent like a performance testing and all. You will have, it will be an added advantage, and if you know that actually what are the questions they will be asking in the interview, also we will be discussing these things. So these are the general, these are the things we will be discussing. The course content duration will be from 10 to 12 hours, but there is no hard stop as such. Like until unless we complete these things, we'll not be leaving it up in the anything in the mid. We will discuss all these topics in detail, and we will be just covering all these details. And I have mentioned you the help page of the Microfocus official page, and then the sends are. Now, have any questions or any other things? Kindly let me know. We can discuss on that. Uh,
No, all good, all good.
Yeah, Abhinav, seen this side. I just want to know. So we are seeing two different response time, right? While we seeing response time in Dynatrace and the
yes.
performance center, we are seeing we are seeing two different time slot actually. So what is the difference actually? Why we are seeing
Times.
two different response
No,
time
no.
for same transaction? I'm asking.
No, no. I consider like this actually. See, my apology. I was not aware of the Dynatrace actually. Whatever this is the time slots I'm speaking earlier, like how to book your load generators, all this. But with my like kind of experience generally, see, Dynatrace like kind of it will directly collect the responses from the application itself. It won't use a browser as such to make all these details. But in case of Fusion, it's a kind of browser oriented. And again, when you send a request and response to the server, actually, you see, consider your extras. In case of extras, actually, you have to load all the pages needs to be downloaded. If you look at this thing itself,
Okay, okay, got it, got it.
you got the point, right? What I meant to say.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
your
yeah.
extras will.
Yeah,
In
yeah. So
Dynatrace, there
it
will be
gives.
no extras.
Okay, okay,
In
understand.
Dynatrace.
It gives only like between server to client only. The response is given
That's
by
it.
Dynatrace.
Yes, yes. But in
Okay,
case
okay.
of Fusion, you have to have all your extras, your
Uh,
client related
Abhinav,
things like, I mean,
Abhinav, just a
yeah.
moment. Let me add something so that that person will clear more about the response time,
Sure,
why
sure,
those
please.
things are going on, right? See,
Sure, sure,
whatever
sure.
the request you, here in the simple thing, I think you know about that. In that case, the rendering time is not going to be a further your HTTP protocol. But here, but if you want to hit through your Dynatrace, then it is that rendering time means what Abhinav is also expressed here. The your JPG means those are the extra files are also going to be added on that. That's why it is taking more time, and your HTTP protocol request it is taking less time. That is the only difference. Is it clear something?
Yeah, yeah. Now it clears. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank
So in this course, what you can expect is okay. As you already know LoadRunner Professional, like LoadRunner using, LoadRunner Enterprise will be an added advantage to see if you keep up your profiles actually for an interview. So large scale organizations like kind of see most of the times they need to do the upgrade. They need to have an admin, but they cannot afford to get. See, if you ask my profile actually, I have a performance system plus performance admin because no company will have a performance admin separately because like it is not a full, yeah, until unless like kind of it is having 150 plus servers. When I was in earlier in TCS actually, yes, I was a performance admin, full-time performance admin, because I have 150 machines to handle. But in case of like kind of other organizations actually, where there are some 40 or 50 load generators on this, so it is like it is not going to be like kind of a full-time job. It will be like 50% you are an admin, 50% you will be working on the performance testing projects itself. So these type of things will be an added advantage for you if you know okay how to manage your LoadRunner Enterprise application. how to be an admin. See, you will have a lot of visibility, and you will have a lot of like kind of I mean to say like added value to your profile, and especially when you know about like kind of your network virtualization scenarios, or your service virtualization scenarios, it will be like kind of even more benefit for you as a performance system. But the core of you will never change. But this is and all I'm going to see your you already like I'm going to make your food more tasty. That's it. It's like kind of all your presentation. I am going to add value to your profile. This course is going to be adding a value to your profile, but like which will have a significant impact, I can say, because most of the times, even when we also like interview our people, like we'll see will they have any of the administration topics. I mean, it's like kind of it will be for sure it will be a differentiator when you know the service virtualization, network virtualization, and then this administration related activities. So we can discuss all these things in detail, and you can also contact us anytime, like kind of if you have any clarifications needed, you can be able to make it up. But like if you wish to enroll, like you just like contact Kumar sir, and then just make your
Abhinav, if you want to
yes.
make the difference between the service virtualization, network virtualization, just in a online definition, then what will be the answer from your end?
No, in network virtualization, I am not touching anything related to the services. What is a service actually? Payment is a service. Booking a ticket is a service actually. So I am not touching anything in the like kind of in network virtualization. The service related nothing I am touching. I am only complicating the network. See, if you take up a phone, you are using a 3G network. Your response is a bit slower. But when you use the 5G network, it will be super fast. In a practical world, how network is affecting the performance testing, I will verify that as a like kind of in network virtualization. But in service virtualization, I don't have something available. Example, in case of a bank or a payment, actually I cannot do that using a real-time scenario, because like a payment cannot be made right in a real-time scenario, or a KYC. I cannot use an Aadhaar data to do the like kind of a KYC check and all in the performance testing scenario is concerned. Then I use a mock service to do that. In case of a network, actually, I am complicating only the network. But in case of a service virtualization, I am just complicating the services itself. But both the places, your actual application, I am never touching anywhere. Your actual application, I am not touching anything. But I am using if I want to complicate, if I want to like kind of twist the network, I use network virtualization. If I want to twist some additional third-party services, I'll go with the service virtualization. But these are two different set of products itself actually. And the purpose is very different, because as I said, in case of automation testing, they are using different browsers. These is it become different networks for different people. This if you want to test that level of scenario, I have to go with the network virtualization. But in order to like kind of okay, some service itself is not available, instead of me stopping my performance testing till the service is available, or a third party related financial data where there is a security involved, in order to take the risk of that, you use virtual services to do those things. You hope you got my point, right? Both are an add-ons. They are never like they will be an add-ons to the performance system.
Yeah, Abhinav, I've got it. But the thing is that I want to know about the objective. See, whenever you are going to use any monitoring tools, that time you want to find out in which layer it is taking more times. The same thing I'm asking, if you are going to use your network virtualization or service virtualization,
I
then what is the objective of that? That I want to know
I
about this one.
okay. Consider like this. Okay, what is the okay? Which network you are using? 3G or 4G or 5G?
For example, right now you are just using a 3G.
3G. Okay. Okay. You are trying to book an IRCTC ticket. Okay. I am trying to book an IRCTC ticket with the 5G. Okay. So that means what I'm testing over here is actually how much time it is taking for the 3G user to book a ticket. How much time it is taking for the 5G user to book a ticket. That is what is the objective of the network virtualization. Okay.
The
Consider in another way.
means you are just trying to say that what is the time taken by using the network.
Yes.
That time we are
Yes.
going to
Yes.
find out the network virtually. Yes, that is the objective I
Yes.
want to know about it. And in case
Yes.
of
Yes.
service virtualization, what
Service.
is the objective?
In case of service virtualization, when some service itself is not available, do you consider, okay, there is an two objectives here actually. One, you have some service earlier which is not available right now. If you want to have that service up and working, it will take 3 months. For that, you have to stop your performance system. Okay, because the thing is here is actually okay, when you log in, it will go for a KYC transaction. That KYC transaction is a separate server or separate thing. It will once it will come as an yes from there, it will like okay, the next request in the application will be moved on. So as the KYC server itself is a down or it is not functioning actually, we cannot stop our performance system with that. So in order to make our performance testing running when there is a third party application or a financial security data involved, we instead of using real service, we use a mock service. And we will generate this data to, generate this data to move the performance. Here, instead of stopping the performance testing, or in order to avoid security related issues, in order to avoid like real time like payment transactions, we use what service virtualization. Here, the objective is to move the performance testing with like kind of like a minimal risk. I know like it might not be able to complete mixes, but like these scenarios they generally used up in the banking and there where the payments happens like either they disable it or like generally. But if you want to emulate this type of scenarios, the service yeah. Services you have to create mock services to make these things happen. Probably when we discuss these things in detail, you can be able to have an, more information. I mean, sorry, more understanding of that. I can see for now. Any other questions or any other details we have it up now?
Uh, Abhinav, as you shared that load-run architecture about that, because there are different
Ah,
components on that, right?
yes.
In that, because you know that most of the peoples or most of the persons they know about this only about your views and your controller analysis, LG for that. But you are sharing some different components also. That is your MI listener is there, right? And another it
Yes.
is RCL is also there, right?
RCL, sorry, this is my listener,
Yeah,
but RCL,
yeah, MI listener. RCL means your
uh,
remote command launcher. Means which acts to be that
okay,
your
okay, okay.
it is yeah
Understood,
it
understood.
it is
Remote command launcher.
I yeah yeah it going to start your application in the host machine and what of the local request it converted in the remote request that is the work of RCL. The similarly here, what is the use
Uh,
of that MI listener so that it will be clear to everyone also that I'm
okay,
trying to
MI
say.
listener, consider like this. Okay, your controller is in one different network, and your load generator is in another network. See, in one company itself, you can have many networks. Okay, so what they want to do over here is see, as controller is in, see generally what happens is 70 to 80% of the applications will be in the one network, and 20 to 30 some internal restricted applications will be in a different network. Okay, so for the sake of that thing, we cannot set up one LRE server for those 20 servers, 20% of the applications itself. So what we do it up is we will set up for this 80% of the applications. We will set up like all the LRE setup, and then a few load generators, two or three load generators. We will set them up in a like for those 20% of the applications. But as LRE host machine and the load generators, LRE servers, these are in the different networks actually. In order to combine, if you see this thing, when the load is being executed by the load generators on the application under the test actually, controller or a load LRE host cannot directly get the information here because there is a network firewall in between. See, generally what happens when the load generator is putting the load under the test, you will get a graph, you will get number of past transactions, what is the throughput, what is your hits per second, all these details. You will be load generators will pass on these details to the LRE host directly. But as there is a firewall present in between these two things, load generators and the LRE host now, so LRE host cannot directly get the information. It uses a component called MI listener to get this information. What it does is actually it will go to the firewall. It will collect the details over the 443 port, and it will pass on the details to the LRE host and the LRE server. So it says something like it is assigning the when there is a different network, when two different networks are present in the LRE host and the load generators. LRE uses a component called MI listener to get the details and pass it on to them. That is the only difference. If both are in the same network, we don't need this MI listener concept itself. But if LRE host and load generators are in different networks,
Hello, hello. Abhinav, I can't hear you. Abhinav, are you there?